Hello YouTube. Today we're changing clutch slave and clutch disc. Now inside you can see a clutch disc. I have an extra input shaft here just so I can get it all centered. But you can see this out of the way for 1 second. You can see that there's my clutch disc, and I just got it changed, a new one. Took out the old one and it's over there on the bench somewhere. See, I took out the transmission because, well, let me start first with explaining what you have to do is take off your drive shaft, which is this, and I hope most of you already know how to do that. Loosen the 4 bolts here. They're all 12-point bolts, so you need a special tool. But over here, once you get that off, the transmission is mounted up here, and you want to take out the transmission as much as you can, just so that you can work freely in here. Some people just pull it back a little bit, depending on if you have a stand like this. You know, you can put it on the stand and pull it back a little bit. I just prefer to take the whole thing out, and I got more space to work that way. Now, the reason I'm making this video in particular is because this is a Ford Ranger I want to say it's a 1999, or no, it's a 97 Ford Ranger, and it's a standard transmission. But once you get the transmission loosened, you gotta take this line out of this goes into the slave cylinder, and when you put this back in, you're gonna have to bleed the system. Now, before you do all that, before I set up back, I want to make a very important note here for the YouTube audience and whoever may be watching. It's important that you remember, if you replace an old clutch disc that was in there, you have to pay attention to this thing. See, this thing might be pushed in all the way. The adjustment might have changed. You see these springs here? Those are the adjustments. Now, if your spring is all the way out here, that means that whenever you install the new clutch disc and you install your transmission, you put back your clutch line on, and you get inside and you step on the clutch, you're going to have some issues. For example, the clutch is going to feel hard or tight, or it goes all the way to the floor and nothing happens, and it's going to cause some issues. So I would strongly encourage you get some expert help. Consult a mechanic or Google how to readjust this this pressure plate so that you can get your clutch disc back in there and have no problems at all. What I did here, we used a press, and you press this in so that it opens all the way, and then you push these springs back in. Now, when you press this in, make sure to use the old clutch disc, because that's already worn out and has the adjustment for it. And you can get these springs pushed back all the way, and then once you've done that, take out the old one, put in a new one. And mind you, what I did to test this on my press was I took off my entire flywheel. This whole assembly, took it off, put it on the press so I could get the right adjustment, and then push back these springs. Once I bolted everything back up and I pressed it in again, then it readjusted itself to the proper position, and as you can notice, this is where it's at, just about halfway, more or less. Get into focus here. And so that's something you really want to pay attention to, or else, you know, you could just replace this, put it back on, put back in the transmission, and think that your system isn't bled properly, and you could spend years and centuries and millenniums trying to bleed your clutch system and nothing happens. In my case, I ended up damaging, you can see here, if I can get this light out of the way, I have some scratches. Focus here. I have some scratches on this line. This is wear and tear because of putting it in, taking it out back over and over and over again. And so what happened is this little ridge here is supposed to get in there and lock. Clips are supposed to lock these in, and those little clips got damaged. So I might have to go to the store and see if I can pick that up. If they don't sell the individual clips, then tough luck. You know, it might just mean you need a brand new slave cylinder just to get that one clip. And you know, those are pretty, well, they cost some money. So if you're trying to save money, then I suggest you pay attention to this video and try to apply what you heard here. You know, learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make your own mistakes. But that's pretty much it for now. I'm gonna start reassembling my transmission, and for that you can check out, I don't yet have a video, I might post one later on how to easily set up backyard transmission. If you have a pit, for example, I'm in a pit, or if you have a, you know, a big car jack or a ramp or whatever, you know, makes it easier. If you're working at home and you're on the ground, you know, it can still be done. There's some videos out there on YouTube that show guys taking it out that way, and it's possible. So you can watch those for further information, but this is just something, an important note that I wanted to make sure everybody is aware of, and so they don't, you know, end up spending a lot of time doing unnecessary work. One more thing I'd like to also bring to your attention, and it's just making sure this is centered before you lock it up. These are some bolts down here that you can lock it, where you lock it, and you just want to make sure that you center this before you lock it. Why do you want to make sure you do that? Well, because if you don't center this and you lock it, and if you notice inside, you can see a clutch disc in there. I'll rotate it so you see it moving. There you go. If you don't get that centered and you adjust it, it'll have some problems.